So Tuesday, the jury heard from one of the 4 shooting survivors. That shooting happened in 2010 in the wee hours of Thanksgiving morning. This is the first survivor to take the stand, this guy, Ramon Galan. He told the jury he didn't see who shot him, but he remembers being the first of the 6 people to be shot that night after the perpetrator asked all the men for identification. Now, the jury also heard some testimony from a crime scene investigator. This is her, Kamini Patel. On cross, she outlined the difficulties of determining the shooter's position on the night in question.
In this particular case, one of the things you have the ability to do is you have the ability to check angles, right?
Dependent upon the scene.
Right, depending on the scene. That you may be able to look and see where a hole, or what's your term that you use?
A strike mark. It's a hole, but not I didn't call it a bullet hole.
Gotcha. You can potentially look to see and go back. Used to be with string, but now with lasers, you can go back and try to find an angle, right?
Certain criteria have to be met in order to do that.
Right. That criteria did not exist in this case?
Correct. Usually we're looking for 2 correlating holes in order to be able to run a trajectory rod or run something through. Because if you have just one hole, your angle, your x-axis angle could go in it all along the x-axis and change.
Gotcha. And so that could not be done in this case, right?
Correct.
And sometimes the location of holes or other things may be able to tell us a general location of where a shooter or shooters were. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And whether a shooter or shooters were moving at the time, right?
Yes.
Potentially.
Yes.
Again, obvious question, but I want to make sure it's clear and on the record. There's nothing about what you see with these with this evidence that you collected to determine the order in which a gun was fired, right?
Correct.
Now, today we expect prosecutors to call more survivors to the stand and also to call the medical examiner who was assigned to this case. Now, the defendant is facing 6 counts, including 2 counts of murder. Remember, 2 people died, and then other counts that are for the other assaultive behavior that's being alleged here. Essentially, the state is saying he acted in revenge. What do you believe happened? Tweet us, let us know. In the meantime, I'm going to bring in my guest. He's standing by in Chicago. He's a practicing criminal defense attorney and the host of the Defense Diaries podcast, Mr. Bob Mata II. Bob, good morning to you. Thanks for coming on the show today. Good morning, Julie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, our pleasure. Okay, so tell me, just looking at the case, objectively, we don't have a horse in the race. Who do you think has got the better case? Essentially, who's in a better position to win this second go-around, and why, please?
Typically on a retrial, my gut is going to say that the state is going to have a better shot. I mean, they went at him one time. As we know, it was a 10-2 count, not guilty on the original mistrial. So I think the likelihood is that the state tried to plug whatever holes they had in their dam. And I think in terms of what they're going to bring to the table this time will probably be a stronger case because they know exactly what issues they had the first time in terms of getting the jury to where they need them to be.
Right, Bob. I want to unpack some of those big issues with you now. One of the biggest, as you know, ID. The 3 things, very elementary things a prosecutor has to prove going to trial. You know this, Bob. Our courties love this stuff. The date, the identification, and the venue, right? So the date we can firmly prove here. The venue we can firmly prove it's in the right county, all of that jazz. But the identification of the perpetrator is something that the jury could get hung up on here. Let's play a clip from Ramon Galan. He is the first shooting survivor to take the stand. And remember, he doesn't see who hit him. Here's a look at some of what he told the jury.
What do you notice at that point?
I didn't notice none. I just heard somebody yelling for us to lay down, give us your IDs.
Where's that sound coming from?
From behind me at the moment when I was standing.
Could you tell where behind you it was coming from?
Not exactly, no.
What do you hear?
I just hear everybody lay down, give me your IDs.
Do you get your ID out?
No.
How come?
Because as soon as I turned around, I heard a gunshot, and I was the first one to get hit.
Okay, Bob, so tell me, looking at this from the defense perspective, how do you handle this? Balancing being sympathetic, of course, to people like Mr. Gallant, who did not deserve this, innocent people who were badly hurt here, but also make the point to the jury that the state got the wrong guy.
Delicately. In short, you have to handle them with kid gloves. Anytime that you've got a surviving victim on the stand, you obviously don't want to go too hard at them, but you do need to get your points out. And I think with Mr. Gallant specifically, he didn't really see the shooter. So in terms of what we're going to have to deal with when we get to the surviving victims who are the identification victims, it's going to be a different, more challenging thing for the defense to have to do at that point, because these guys are saying that they saw him. So Mr. Gallant was a witness that I don't think hurt the defense too much. I do think that he said a couple of interesting things during that testimony yesterday, which weren't in the clip, and he referred to the term the guys told me, one of the guys told me to show him my ID, and I didn't know if he was talking about his friends or if he was intimating that there were two shooters possibly. So I thought that was interesting yesterday, and they didn't clarify it on direct or cross.
Oh, I love that you picked up on that, Bob. See, that's good stuff, because you would think if you're defense counsel, you're going to go, oh, ears perking up, so you're saying there were two, sir. And you're right, we didn't hear that. That's a very good observation, Bob. Thank you for that. Let's take a look at a little tidbit of the cross-exam.
So when you, what first draws your attention is hearing what's being said behind you, right?
Yes.
Nothing about a car,
No.
van. Do you know how this person got there?
No.
Okay. I think you've answered that. What type of car, anything like that, right? When this person came up, I think your statement is this person, you were demanding identification. That's what they were doing, right?
Yes.
Any announcement that they were police?
Not that I recall.
Are you still looking at that table?
After the first yell, I turned around.
Right. And when you turned around, that's when you felt the shot.
Yes.